Argentina, land of impossible boundaries, land of endless pampas, land of tango and passion. (40 degrees below zero). Breath crystallizes in the icy air of Patagonia. But 3,000 kilometers away, 113 degrees, the asphalt burns under the scorching northern sun. Welcome to the land of impossible contrasts. Welcome to Argentina. The 8th largest country on the planet seems to contain all possible worlds. From the tropical north with the Iguazu Falls to the fertile plains of the Pampas in the center. And then down, ever further down, to Patagonia, where fierce winds shape the landscape and ancient glaciers reign supreme. In this land, vast stretches of territory remain untouched by humans, but under the same sky, extremes coexist. Aconcagua rises to almost 23,000 feet, challenging the clouds, while Laguna del Carbon plunges 344 feet below sea level like a scar in the earth. It's a country that guards the secrets of the largest dinosaurs that ever existed, their bones still lying in Patagonian rocks, silent witnesses to a lost era. But Argentina is also the country where tango was born, in the poor alleys of Buenos Aires, transforming from a dance of the slums to UNESCO heritage. It's the land of gauchos, the South American cowboys who forged the country's rural identity, riding across the immense Pampas plains, passing down traditions that survive to this day. It's a nation where mate passes from hand to hand as a symbol of timeless friendship, where sharing tells stories of brotherhood and hospitality. It's also a country where cows outnumber inhabitants, and that's why meat isn't just food, but culture, ritual, and tradition. Furthermore, Argentina is a land of unbridled passion, where soccer isn't just a sport, but religion. Here, the Super Clásico between Boca Juniors and River Plate can paralyze an entire nation. And Maradona and Messi aren't just athletes, but deities who have rewritten the rules of the world's most beloved game. This land is a mosaic of cultures where over 60% of the population has Italian blood in their veins, the result of massive immigration that forever transformed the face of the country. This fusion of peoples has created a unique identity, visible in the city's architecture, in the food, and in the language itself, where the particular accent of Castellano Rioplatense betrays its European origins. The vastness of this territory, however, hides surprising secrets. There are 13 bases in Antarctica, complete with schools for the children of scientists who live there, right in Earth's most remote continent. Moreover, it's the world's largest exporter of lemons and the second of corn, an agricultural powerhouse that feeds millions of people well beyond its borders. Argentina is all this and much more. It's a country that defies definitions, that surprises at every turn, and that invites exploration. And it's precisely from this exploration that our journey through Argentina's most extraordinary places begins. Ushuaia and Tierra del Fuego. Where the land ends, an adventure begins. Ushuaia, the world's southernmost city after Puerto Williams, clings to the slopes of the Marshall Mountains before the continent shatters into 1,000 islands. The Beagle Channel reflects the city lights like a dark mirror, while Antarctic cruise ships await dawn in the harbor. In summer, the sun never completely sets. Rather, twilight merges with dawn in a play of light that lasts for hours, painting the surrounding glaciers in pink and gold. Tierra del Fuego National Park preserves the planet's last subantarctic forests, where beech trees twist under the furious winds of the strait. Penguins finally nest on nearby islands, sharing the waters with sea lions and southern dolphins. Beyond the park's beaten paths, another jewel awaits the most tenacious explorers, the Emerald Lagoon. The trail to reach it crosses woods and peat bogs, where each step sinks slightly into the moist ground. Its waters, of an intense emerald green that gives it its name, are born from the slow melting of the perennial ice that crowns the surrounding peaks, and the minerals dissolved in the glaciers give the water this surreal tint. Here, in the silence broken only by the wind and the song of austral birds, nature reveals one of its purest spectacles, adding another chapter to the incredible story at the world's end. El Chaltén and Mount Fitzroy. In remote Argentine Patagonia, El Chaltén emerges as humanity's last outpost before the realm of mountains. The wooden houses of the village huddle under the imposing shadow of Fitzroy and its eternal companion, Cerro Torre, whose granite spire soars skyward. While trails wind through the valley, leading hikers toward an encounter with these two legendary mountains. During dawn, when sunlight strikes the granite peaks, the rock transforms into a natural beacon, dominating the Patagonian horizon. Here, where wind shapes not only the landscape, but also the character of its inhabitants, climbers from around the world converge to challenge the vertical walls, which rise over 10,000 feet above sea level. Among the surrounding valleys, meanwhile, turquoise lakes reflect the silhouettes of mountains, while perennial glaciers feed streams that cross ancient lenga forests. El Chaltén lives to the rhythm of seasons, transforming from a climber's base during the austral summer to an isolated village during the harsh winter months when snowstorms wrap Fitzroy and Cheroturi in a white mantle. Buenos Aires. The streets of Buenos Aires pulse with the rhythm of South America's most European city. The city reveals itself through contrasts, with Puerto Madryn's skyscrapers reflecting in waters where ships once docked, laden with dreams and hopes. In the San Telmo district, meanwhile, tango emerges spontaneously from the sidewalks, where dancers move as if in an ancient ritual. Not to mention the La Boca neighborhood, which tells stories of sailors and immigrants through its sheet metal houses. Here, soccer is religion, Maradona is still God, and Sundays transform into a collective celebration, with La Bombonera Stadium roaring. In historic cafes, time has stopped in the golden years of European immigration. Conversations blend with the clinking of coffee cups, while outside, the city continues its frenetic dance. Buenos Aires isn't a destination, it's a state of mind that changes those who pass through it. Los Glaciares National Park. In the heart of Patagonia, Los Glaciares National Park guards a world where ice reigns supreme. The Perito Moreno, undisputed protagonist of this frozen kingdom, moves ceaselessly toward Lake Argentino, creating a sonic spectacle when enormous blocks of ice break from its face. This perpetual movement has shaped the region's geography over millennia, carving deep valleys and sculpting mountains. The southern Patagonian ice field, from which 47 major glaciers are born, represents one of Earth's last testimonies to the Ice Age. Water flowing beneath the icy surface creates blue tunnels and caves, while glacial lakes change color as hours pass, from gray to deep azure. Finally, the native forests surrounding these ice giants harbor unique biodiversity, adapted to survive in extreme conditions, where winds can reach impressive speeds and temperatures oscillate dramatically between seasons. Mendoza and the wine route. In the heart of the Andes, Mendoza reveals a world where nature has created perfect conditions for viticulture. The territory stretches between mountains and desert, where glacial meltwater flows through a canal system built by indigenous Huarpa centuries ago. Vineyards extend along the wine route, where hundreds of wineries transform grapes into wines that have conquered the world. The sandy soil and altitude above 3,000 feet create a unique microclimate, while the sun of the Cuyo region reflects off vine leaves climbing their supports. Days begin at dawn, when workers harvest clusters by hand, following traditions passed down through generations. At sunset, the sky displays a spectacle of colors, while in the cellars must slowly ferment in oak barrels, guarding the secrets of an ancient process. Iguazu Falls. At the point where three nations meet, water has created a spectacle that defies imagination. The Iguazu Falls are 275 cascades that plunge into the forest, creating a symphony of thunder and rainbows. The Devil's Throat, the most imposing, dumps 53,000 cubic feet of water per second into a 262-foot abyss. Mist rises from the base of the falls, creating a microclimate where toucans and coatis move among trees. Walkways allow visitors to approach the fall's edge, where water plunges with force that makes the ground tremble. Moreover, the forest surrounding the falls conceals ruins of Jesuit missions, while the river continues its unchanging course as it has for millennia before humans discovered this corner of paradise. Bariloche. In northern Patagonia, Bariloche emerges among lakes and mountains, like a window into the planet's glacial past. Lake Nahuel Huapi stretches at the city's feet, where clear waters reflect the profile of surrounding mountains. Forests of coihue and lenga cover the slopes, creating an ecosystem that harbors pumas, condors, and Andean deer. During winter, snow transforms the region into a skier's paradise, while in summer the trails fill with hikers headed toward mountain shelters. Air currents descending from the mountains shape clouds into changing forms, creating plays of light on the lake's water. The city's history intertwines with that of the first European settlers and indigenous peoples, witnessed by Alpine-style buildings that blend with traditional Patagonian architecture. Salta and Los Cardones. In northern Argentina, where the land rises majestically from sea level until it nearly touches the clouds, stands the ancient city of Salta. Its streets interweave like a mosaic of colors, rich with buildings that change color as hours pass, just as the sun illuminates the Calchaquí Valley. In Salta's heart, the pink and cream cathedral rises majestically over the main square, where arcades underscore the place's colonial history. In Los Cardones National Park, meanwhile, thousands of cacti sprout from arid earth, some watching over these places for more than 300 years, silent witnesses to passing time. Water, a rare treasure in these lands, has patiently carved its path through rocks, creating formations reminiscent of ancient peoples. Condors glide majestically over deep gorges in search of prey, while vicuñas traverse paths traced by their ancestors. Peninsula Valdés. A strip of land extends into the Atlantic, creating one of the planet's richest marine ecosystems. The Valdés Peninsula hosts a spectacle that has repeated for millennia, that of southern right whales, who choose these waters to give birth to their calves. From June to December, these giants approach the coast. Mothers spend months teaching their cubs the art of survival, communicating through songs that resonate in deep waters. On land, colonies of elephant seals and sea lions populate the beaches, where males engage in territorial battles that resound for miles. The orcas of Valdés, furthermore, have developed a hunting technique unique in the world. They deliberately beach themselves to capture sea lion pups. Quebrada de Humahuaca and Purmamarca. A canyon crosses the Andes, revealing a history that dates back 10,000 years. The walls of Quebrada de Humahuaca rise toward the sky, while the Rio Grande continues its course, eroding rock meter by meter, exactly as it has done for millennia. When you reach Purmamarca, the Hill of Seven Colors dominates the horizon. These rock layers tell the story of mountain formation. While in the streets of the village below, life flows following ancient rhythms, marked by the sound of the colonial church bells. Purmamarca's stone streets interweave around the central plaza, where a church has stood since 1648, while in the market, one of the Quebrada's oldest, Earth's products blend with local crafts, and inhabitants move between colorful stalls and narrow alleys. Villa La Angostura. Among Patagonia's lakes, Villa La Angostura hides in a land shaped by fire and ice. The waters of Lake Nahuel Huapi break against the shores of this village. The streets of this Patagonian enclave, meanwhile, wind between wooden houses and gardens, where Alpine architecture merges with Patagonian style. The center develops around the main street, rich with craft shops and cafes, occupying buildings of stone and logs. From the port, boats depart toward the Argentine Peninsula, where one of the world's few forests of these trees survives, with cinnamon-colored bark witnessing over 3 centuries of history. Here, life flows to the rhythm of seasons, with snow transforming Mount Bayo into a skier's refuge and national park trails welcoming hikers in summer. Ibera Wetlands. Water dominates this universe in Argentina's heart, creating one of South America's largest wetland systems. Channels interweave across the plain, forming a labyrinth where life proliferates in every corner. Here, caimans rest on the banks, while capybaras move among aquatic plants. The marsh deer, meanwhile, reintroduced after years of absence, finds refuge among vegetation, and jabiras build their homes atop trees. The Ibera ecosystem survives thanks to a delicate balance, where each species plays a fundamental role in the chain of life. Here in the marsh waters, nature continues its millennial cycle, resisting time and changes in the outside world. Cafayate and Quebrada de las Conchas. Vines climb valley slopes, nourished by sun beating on red earth. Cafayate rises at 5,520 feet altitude, where Torrontés grapes have found their home among mountains, producing one of Argentina's most distinctive wines. Here lies also the Quebrada de las Conchas, cutting through earth between Cafayate and Salta, where wind and water have sculpted rock for millions of years. The river, indeed, has carved its path through formations, creating the amphitheater, Devil's Throat, and the Window, natural monuments emerging from gorge walls. Cafayate streets, meanwhile, develop around the central plaza, where Our Lady of the Rosary Church gleams in sunlight. The Quebrada's silence is broken only by wind blowing between rocks, carrying with it the valley's red dust. Mar del Plata. Where the ocean meets the pampas, Mar del Plata rises on the Atlantic coast. The sea shapes the land through waves that never cease beating against the shore, while fishing boats depart at dawn to return with nets full of fish. The Atlantic wind carries the scent of the sea through this city's streets, while the Tank Tower, rising 289 feet, has dominated the horizon since 1943. During winter, southern right whales pass offshore during their migration, but it's around the piers that marine life concentrates, with crabs and sea lions populating these places. The city, moreover, lives to the rhythm of seasons and tides, transforming from fishing port to tourist destination with the changing seasons. Lanín National Park. In the Andes mountain range rises the Lanín volcano, with snow wrapping its peak in a perpetual white mantle. Through time, Araucaria forests have endured since the pre-glacial era, taking root on the mountain slopes. The streams, meanwhile, born from perennial glaciers, flow toward valleys feeding into various lakes, while in the air resounds only the breath of wind through branches, accompanied by the melody of water rushing downward. And it is precisely lakes Huichulafquen, Paimun, and Epulafquen that form a water system nourishing this volcanic land for thousands of years. Rosario. The Paraná flows powerfully before the city, creating one of South America's most important river ports. Terminal cranes move without pause, loading grain onto ships that will depart toward the world's oceans. Rosario's center pulses around the flag monument, where indeed the Argentine flag waves above the staircase that descends toward the river. Various streets branch out in an urban grid, built by the first immigrants, flanked by buildings that tell the story of Argentine architecture. Coastal parks extend for miles along the shores, where people gather to drink, mate, and fish, transforming these green spaces into meeting places for all. From here, where the river draws infinite curves in the plain, the city continues to grow following the Paraná's rhythm, vital artery of this land. Los Alerces National Park. In Patagonia's heart, Alerce forests dominate the territory with trees that have risen for over 3,000 years. These giants of nature, witnesses to past eras, have resisted time thanks to the protection of surrounding mountains. Glacial lakes, such as Lake Fatalafquen, cross the park reflecting mountain peaks, while streams carry snowmelt through valleys carved in time. Patagonia's last pumas move through these ancestral woods, while condors soar over peaks in search of prey. In clearings, moreover, endangered species like huemul deer graze on grass. In this remote corner of Argentina, silence is broken only by waters lapping and winds rustling through branches of these characteristic trees, which continue their ancient growth inch by inch. Tigre. The Paraná Delta divides into thousands of channels, creating a water labyrinth north of Buenos Aires. On these river islands, houses rise on stilts, defying tides that mark life's rhythm. Public ferries, called lanchas colectivas, glide between channels carrying residents and visitors, while vendors' boats offer fruit and vegetables directly on the water. In the Puerto de Frutos, the city's historic market, the river trade tradition continues, displaying wicker products and wooden furniture created by island craftsmen. Moreover, old villas and nautical clubs in the center tell of Tigre's golden age, when aristocracy built their summer residences here, transforming a fruit port into a destination uniting history and nature. Puerto Madryn. In the depths of the Patagonian Sea, an ancient ritual comes to life. Southern right whales travel ocean routes toward the Nuevo Gulf, transforming it into a place where life takes form. From June to December, the waters become a school of survival, while mothers pass on to their calves the secrets of marine life. The cetaceans' movements follow a primordial route in marine depths, while on land Magellanic penguins dig shelters in coastal earth. Wind shapes the dunes, carrying with it the voices of hunting orcas, while the city preserves traces of Welsh pioneers who arrived in the 1800s, blending their traditions with the rhythm of tides. Tafí del Valle. Among Tucumán's mountains, at 6,562 feet altitude, opens the Tafí Valley, where Andean wind shapes the territory where menhirs, monoliths erected by the ancient Tafí civilization, endure as history's guardians. Trails lead to viewpoints from which the gaze roams free, following the profile of reliefs that extend to the horizon. Days begin with silence broken only by nature's sounds, while pastures extend until reaching La Angostura Lake's shores, a mirror of water that collects and reflects every sky nuance. Moreover, archaeological remains hidden among hills testify to the presence of ancient peoples who left indelible marks here. As sun sets, light changes, transforming every landscape corner, while wind continues its journey, moving clouds and drawing new shapes in the sky. Salinas Grandes. In northern Argentina, this salt flat emerges among mountains like a mirror of 82 square miles, where salt transforms the landscape into a horizon without boundaries between sky and earth. From Earth's depths, water rises to the surface through natural channels, while sun's action transforms minerals into salt crystals. Local workers continue extraction following century-old methods, extracting blocks from the crust, which extends up to 12 inches below the surface. The rainy season covers the territory with a veil of water, transforming the expanse into an infinite mirror that captures sunlight. Merchants, moreover, cross this plain, following ancient trade routes that connect Andean valleys, transporting the mineral toward distant markets. National Road 40. Throughout Argentine territory extends Route 40, a journey of 3,107 miles, uniting 11 provinces and 20 national parks, crossing 236 bridges and 27 Andean passes. The route begins in the Puna, where volcanoes dominate the landscape and flamingos gather in high-altitude lagoons. The road continues through wine valleys at 9,843 feet altitude, then descends into the wind-beaten Patagonian steppe. The journey ends at Cabo Vergenes, meeting point between continent and ocean, where penguins occupy the coast. Truckers and travelers have traversed this route for decades, overlapping colonial caravan paths and gaucho routes across the territory. In concluding this visual journey through Argentina, we've moved from its cities to its most remote lands, crossing landscapes that tell ancient stories and traditions that resist time. We've explored iconic places and lesser-known corners, discovering together not only spectacular scenery, but also details that make each region unique. We hope these images and stories have enriched your knowledge and ignited the desire to personally explore the extraordinary variety of this nation.